Welcome back to part 2 of this interior detailing. If you haven't watched part 1 already, please watch it and then come back to this. So this is a follow-up to part 1. So in this video, we're going to be dealing with the interior leather seats and the floor.
Right. So how do we?
So we're dealing with different materials. So it's important for us to have test the material, the products we are going to use, and also the brush of type or the equipment of type we choose to use. So that's what we call test. You test a spot, you pick a spot so that you test it, and that will confirm that your choice is correct, or you have to change what equipment you are going to be using. So as you can see, I'm just gently picking that spot and just going over it. I can instantly tell that the leather is turning nice and creamy as it should be, which means the brush of choice and the product is going to work. So you clean it and you wipe it as soon as possible, because with the leather, when you spray product on it, it opens its pores, and if you're not quick to wipe it off, it will absorb the dirt and everything, and that will be even more difficult to clean, or sometimes impossible depending on the product. So again, I test a few spots just to confirm my test, and there's nothing wrong with that. Just have to make sure that you're using the right product and the right brush, otherwise you will cause damage, and you don't want to cause damage. You always go with the least aggressive combination of product and brush, and then it's much better to go over works more than once, like twice, 3 times, even 4 times sometimes, rather than to go aggressive and destroy the leather. Dealing with the Alcantara right now, and it's a matter of spraying the product in. Don't saturate it too much. All I'm doing is trying to loosen the dirt, the surface dirt, so that I'll be able to pull it out with the next method. And we will discuss 3 methods of 3 methods that you can use to do this effectively, or you can have combination of the methods. But for all the methods that we use, we still have to go through this phase where you spray product and allow it to dwell for a bit. Dwelling time means time you leave the material to the product to sit in the material without it drying, so that the products will activate and losing the dirt. So the next stage is go over it and agitate the surface. Again, you have to make sure you're using the right brush. So I know this brush was good for the Alcantara. Alcantara is a suede kind of leather, so it's not your normal leather that we use. So again, we have to be careful to make sure that we're using the right method. So method 1 is to use a damp microfiber towel to blot the water or the excess dirt from the Alcantara. And this is quite effective if you don't have any of the next method, the tornado type material. That will be the next one. You can use this method and just go over it, go over the Alcantara, pressing hard, and making sure you go through all those grooves with your thumb. Press it with your thumb so that you can get all the dirt that hides there, and just make sure firmly go over
You
it.
are
Sometimes
pulling
you have to go over it more
dirt
than once
out.
based on what your tower shows you.
Okay.
But for
And
this
then
video, I'm just
after
demonstrating
that,
to you
you go ahead and use a
the
dry
methods
towel
that
to
we use to
just use a dry towel.
make this cleaning
Example.
happen. Then after
The
you
top,
go over it
the
with a
back side
dry
of
towel
this
so
Alcantara
that you'll
is
be
the
able to
least
blot
dirty
as much of the product out
unless it's owned
so
by a
that
mechanic
you don't leave
who is
too much
bringing his
moisture
greasy
in the
self
vehicle.
into the car. That would be the least
Usually when I
dirty
do
part.
this, driver is or the
If you
owner
use
is able to
the
drive it straight
most
away.
dirty
It will be a
part.
little
So
bit
this is
damp,
how much dirt.
but not
This is how
wet,
clean it was,
wet.
and this is how
So
dirty it
it's
is.
safe to drive immediately after. Second method is to use this tornado type blower, and there are so many types in the market. You need a compressor to do that. So if you don't have, then that's fine. You can use the first method and that will be good enough. But you can use the first method and use this method as well. So here I am blowing all the debris as best as I can, and I was catching it with a microfiber towel. Method 3 is my favorite one, where I'm using a rotador. Rotador is made by Tornado again, and that has got a vacuum attachment to it, so it's pulling the dirt and it's shooting mist of water, and that helps to loosen the dirt. And then you go back to the leather, and we've tested the leather already, so this time we know exactly what is needed to pull the dirt off the leather. So the trick is to keep the leather lubricated and moist at all time, and do not allow the product to dwell on it for too long. You have to be very quick. That's why I was spraying as I was brushing, because the worst thing you would the worst thing that will happen if you leave the product on the leather for too long is reabsorption of the dirt, and that becomes even more difficult to deal with than when it was dirty. So yeah, going over all the parts and making sure that I am cleaning as best as I can, and going over and over and over. There were some streaks of water at the top there, so I paid some particular attention to it. That's the thing with leather. If you do not wipe the product quick enough, you're going to have streaks, and that will look nasty, and you wouldn't like to be in that situation at all, because you spend a lot of time trying to deal with that, and sometimes you're not able to deal with that. And with a leather color like this, it's not forgiving at all. It's a bright color, so it will stand up like a sore thumb, and nobody wants that. Nobody want to leave that. No detailer want to leave that kind of situation with a client. So the trick is, if you are not sure that you have cleaned it enough, you have to go over it again. Don't use aggressive product or aggressive brush. If you're not sure, just go over it again. It doesn't take long to go over it again. It's better than going too aggressive and destroying something. I'm sure I've said this a few times, but it is very important to understand that you cannot go aggressive with these kind of things, because it will come back to haunt you. We have already gone ahead and wiped the whole of the roof. I mean the inner part of the roof. So all the surfaces are clean as we've done it. We did that. I did that before doing the seats, because I do not want anything to be falling down or when I'm doing the floor. So again, I chose to use the drill attachment here. And again, you have to be sure of the strength of the bristles of this attachment, because if you go too aggressive, you might destroy the leather or you might breach the leather. Be sure of what you're doing and making sure that it is working the way you want it to work. The back seat was quite dirty, and that's the thing you wouldn't see with a cream. It's hard to see that it's dirty or it's not. So it was dirtier than I thought. So I had to go over it and just repeat the same process, gently squeeze myself to the back and go over it and over it and over it. That's all you can do. You cannot go aggressive. You have to be gentle and just apply all the knowledge that you are getting from here to go over it. This is something you can do yourself or employ a detailer to do for you. I'm hoping that my fellow detailers, this is the method they use, or if you're a detailer and you're watching and you've got a better method, please share so that we can all learn. Subscribe for more and to help the channel grow. So I'm now down the floor, and as you can see, I shoot the product into the floor, and I'm going to go ahead and agitate it first with a brush, with a floor brush. And after that, I'm going to try to go after whatever is left of it. So again, I can use the tornado type shooter, or I'm using a tornado type shooter, but just be aware that this is blowing, so you're going to have excess going everywhere. Just be aware of that. Or if you don't have a tornado type, you can always use a vacuum cleaner, wet and dry vacuum cleaner, and pull off all the dirt, and then you wipe it like we did before with the seats. With the Alcantara seats, you can use a microfiber towel to pull it off. Detailing Law, thanks for watching. If you haven't subscribed, please do so now. There will be one more part coming up soon, and that will complete this interior detailing.
That looks nice.
So this is what is involved. The whole process should take about 3 to 4 hours. Thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next video. Thank you.